What happens then if you have a 4-4 court and it rules 4-4 on this issue? Immigration pro Jessica Vaughan on that. Jessica, I mean, wouldn't there be a case where lower courts have kind of pushed the president to the edge? Wouldn't their ruling stand that the president overstepped himself in that event?
That's what most legal analysts have said, that in the event of a 4-4 split, that the decision of the appeals court allowing the injunction blocking the president's executive actions will stand. But of course, you know, the ultimate referendum on this action is going to be the election in November. But this is a very important case.
You know, Jessica, one of the things that has always alarmed me is when people talk about the 4 to 5 million supposedly at stake of being deported, that the number is actually greater and that we have slowed major deportations down to a trickle post all of this dust up. So it could be millions, many millions more, could it not?
Well, it's true. Deportations are running at less than half the level that they were just a few years ago, and the president has done everything he can to suppress immigration enforcement and to slow deportations where, you know, most of the people who would be covered by this work permits program that the president created were not really facing any realistic threat of deportation anyway. Even though, you know, the law clearly says that they are deportable, the president has chosen not to enforce the law in these cases, despite the problems that this creates and the incentive that this creates for more illegal immigration. And it will be interesting to see if the Supreme Court chooses to take up that question of, you know, is the president illegally abdicating his responsibility to enforce the law?
You know, when they got caught up in the semantics of this, Jessica, and you're the expert, I'm not, but they got to, you know, how far a president can go with his executive orders. I thought maybe, and I'm no lawyer, that they were missing the forest for the trees. And this is a very different forest. And it's about overreach when it comes to enforcing our policies on illegals. If they take a technical pass on that because it's something they don't want to interfere with, that is the president's use of these orders, regardless of whether it's a legitimate issue, then this issue continues exploding, doesn't it?
Well, yes, because one of the questions is, did they follow the rules in place for, you know, changing regulations, and that is one of the questions that the lower court ruled on and found that the administration had not. But this, you know, the big issue here is really who gets to make immigration law. The Constitution says that responsibility and authority lies with Congress, and the Constitution is clear on that. But the president was frustrated that Congress didn't enact his immigration agenda and the changes that he wanted, and so he went and imposed this executive action. And so I think that's really the fundamental issue here that could affect lots of other issues is there any break on executive authority at all? Because if there isn't in this issue, then the sky is the limit as far as what a president can do. And so that's really the biggest question here. Certainly, the immigration implications are huge as well.
Yeah. And it buys him time. It buys the president time, or those, I'm sorry, who just want to wait, presumably to see what another Democratic administration would do. Hillary Clinton says she would do more than he's done on this issue. So maybe this is, I'm being cynical here, an attempt to fight it out in the courts. New president, let's say it's a Democratic one, who comes in and finishes what he started.
It's possible, but, you know, let's not forget that Congress still has a role to play and some things that it could do. Congress could step up and make it clear in immigration law, you know, exactly what kinds of discretion the executive branch has with respect to people here illegally. And many people do hope that Congress will.
Yeah, we'll see. I have my doubts. Thank you very, very much.